Welcome to Deep River Farm. This is an update of the Helping Hands project for Central Global Methodist Church. These are the families that were vetted. By doing so, these are the families that would not qualify for any federal help. The insurance has failed them, and these families would be falling through the cracks if it weren't for the folks that were donating to the Helping Hands project to help these folks get back on their feet and get back into a home. So we wanted to read family number 7 story and then let you know what was going on with them. And that way you're up to date on everything, and you'll know how your money that you've sent in and helped these families and what it's doing. So this is number 7 family. This property has been in the family since my great-grandfather, who the community is named for. When my grandparents passed, we purchased the property from the family and renovated it. The morning of the flood, my wife and I took our children up the road to her mother's house around 7:30. We returned and removed a few items like an overnight bag of papers out of a safe. And bless my wife, she grabbed the kids' baby books. We took about 20 minutes and water had started around the house. So we left, trying to get back to our kids, but the road was blocked. We stayed in a house behind ours on the bank that I look after for a distant family, but have access to. By 8:30, the water was higher than anyone in my family had ever talked about. We watched as a 20 by 10 storage building pushed into the end of our house. It held together. Excuse me. Still fighting this mess. One day I'll be good, next day I'll be coughing. It had pushed into the end of the house. It held together for about an hour, and when it failed, water was hitting the house 6 or 7 feet up. My great-grandfather's cellar that had been there since about 1870 was a block building. We watched as it popped up in one piece and went down the river where the driveway was at what looked like 40 miles an hour. Later that night, I was able to get my wife back to where my kids were staying by walking her through some areas in the road that were washed out, and I stayed in the house near ours. The next morning, the river had cut a new course in the front of the house, and it was still not accessible. It was a blessing that I had a piece of equipment and was able to start working on the road out of the area, because where we were all at, it was cut off. About 1 p.m., I was still working on the road, and I busted into tears because I saw my father walking in, because there had been no communication since 8 a.m. the day of the storm. My family, a niece, nephew, and a neighbor's daughter left with my father as he lives in Piney Flats, Tennessee, and had not been affected. I stayed to finish the road so people would have access. It wasn't till the next day that the water had went down enough that we could create a way over to our home. It had cut a 30-foot wide by 15-foot deep channel in the front yard. The house stood, but once I could get in, I could not tell. Once I got in, I could not tell how bad it was. The river flow had busted through the back walls of the house, entering what was the master bedroom and my daughter's room. It must have filled the house so quickly that the floors overloaded and collapsed, ripping the walls loose and everything else. The water was over the countertops in the kitchen, filling and ripping the walls loose there as well. And what wasn't torn loose was full of mud. Behind the house, roughly an acre of land washed away, including the septic system. Large portion of the foundation was undermined and on another section. Power pole came down, tearing some of the roof off, where we were able to find the wellhead under about 3 feet of mud, and could be intact but not sure. With the current course of the river, there is no way my family and myself could ever rest easy in the house again if we rebuilt in this location. I am blessed that my family has given us a piece of property about a quarter mile up the creek to rebuild on, with donations from my family, my church, and some others. We have been able to get a modular home on order and start a house seat at this location. We finally did hear back from FEMA. Currently they are allowing us $23,000 for the house and $20,000 for other. We're going to appeal this to try to get more. That's pretty bad when they only want to give you $23,000 for your house that probably cost $150,000 to build. They're going to appeal it. Our current house still has a mortgage that I am proud to say we had down to $84,000. And now a second mortgage for a new house stands at $212,000. Currently, we are staying between a donated motorhome and our mother-in-law's house on the creek above us to keep the kids in their school and near my work while we rebuild. Because of all the blessings of supplies that has arrived in our area, like the motorhome, cloths, and food, our current needs are met, and we are safe and warm. I thank you, and my family thanks you for your prayers and thoughts. If we can take one good thing from this devastation, is to see God's mercy, love, and compassion working through so many people, and to know that He is always with us. Now, we know that they've already graded the property for the new modular home that they have purchased, and the second mortgage and the new house stands at $212,000. Ain't that something? Their needs between the house that they're paying a mortgage on and the new mortgage, second mortgage for the house up the road, is a total estimated right now at $275,000. Now remember, folks, these are the folks that I told you about several videos back when we released the information about family number 7, that the mortgage company was requiring him and his wife to maintain homeowner's insurance on this house that had no electricity and no water and was destroyed. Now, ain't that something? They told them if they didn't maintain it, that the mortgage company would purchase insurance, and it would be much more expensive if the bank had to purchase the insurance for them. So, you know, it's ridiculous to continue to carry homeowner's insurance on a house that's destroyed, has no electricity or water, but being forced to pay the people that won't pay him more money. That just burns me up. The update, 12/26. They have graded their property and placed down the down payment of $40,000 on a new modular house. They finalized the FEMA appeal with the help of a group that is doing, that they said they will review and submit in 5 to 6 days. And that was yesterday, which was the 26th of December. Work on the new house site is moving forward as weather permits. On the 3rd of January, he sent in and said, we are trying to get a septic guy on site along with a well driller. Foundation crews are supposed to be out next week for footers. Our appeal with FEMA has been submitted and have not had any response yet. So this is family number 7, folks. This is, they lost it all, and they're rebuilding a quarter of a mile up the road. And because where they're at, I've been to this location, and they have no backyard left. It washed all the grass, the dirt, and everything out, including the septic tank, left it exposed down to the bedrock. The front yard is where the river was located. It rechanneled to the front yard and done the same thing. There's a very small strip that has dirt and stuff around the front yard, and the side yard downstream of the river still intact. But the amount of fill it would take to put dirt back on this property would be enormous. And the well was ruined and under 3 feet of mud, and it probably filled in when it took the well cap and stuff off. It probably poured mud down into the well, and it's probably ruined as well. So this is family number 7. I appreciate you watching. If you're interested in helping the Helping Hands project of Central Global Methodist Church, there's going to be a link in the description box below. And if you have any questions after you read the link, you can feel free to call the church, and hopefully somebody will be available right then to answer. If not, you can leave your name and number on a voicemail, and they'll get back to you as quick as possible. Thanks for watching, and have a blessed day. This has been family number 7.